of When Dinosaurs Roamed The Earth, written by a very talented young author, Pritvik Sinhadc. Tonight's event is not only a very exciting celebration for a wonderful new book, but you are also witnessing history. Because not only is this the first ever book written on paleontology in the UAE, but Pritvik is the youngest author to ever be published in the United Arab Emirates. We at Sky Horizon Media are extremely proud to be representing such a talented young author, and we are honored to be here tonight to introduce him to you. The first time I met Pritvik, I was stunned at this young man's extensive knowledge of prehistoric creatures. Within minutes of being introduced to him, he was spitting out words that were far beyond my intelligence. And I just stood there and smiled and nodded and pretended that a 7-year-old didn't know more than me as I did. However, over the course of the last year, while I've been working with Pritvik, I can say that my knowledge of dinosaurs has increased tenfold. And I must say my colleagues have had an entertaining time as I have tried to pronounce Nothrochus and what is it?
It's Nothronicus.
And Ichthyosaurus? Ichthyosaurus, okay, yes. Well, a 7-year-old constantly corrected me. That being said, I can now proudly say that I know with certainty that the Argentinosaurus is the largest dinosaur that ever existed, that the Gigantosaurus is larger than the T-Rex, and as Pritvik told Malavika on City 101.6, I cannot ever date a velociraptor because it will eat me alive. Or a Deinonychus. Now a little bit about how this dinosaur genius came to be. Pritvik's unusual interest in dinosaurs started when he was only 9 months old. By the time he was 1, he was questioning his parents about where life began, gravity, how we actually came to be. His parents became worried. They thought this was very abnormal, that he had such an extensive knowledge of prehistoric creatures, birth, body systems, eating and behavioral patterns, scientific reasons for their extinction that surpassed that of most adults. In year 1, when Pritvik was only 5 years old, his teacher, Mr. Gino Williams, was so surprised by Pritvik's knowledge of the biomechanics of all land, water, and flying creatures that she realized he was gifted in paleontology. It was then that Pritvik was asked to teach dinosaur classes to year 3 students, an amazing achievement for such a young child. Then in year 2, Pritvik earned the tag of genius, and that was only the beginning of his accomplishments. He went on to become a Megastar Science Crest Award winner, and has recently won the Young Science Ambassador title from the British Science Association. On top of all of this, Pritvik is an accomplished teacher. He plays the piano and the guitar. He's a brown belt champion in karate. He plays cricket under the International Cricket Council, is a voracious reader of non-fiction scientific books, and is absolutely crazy about going on fossil dig trips in the desert. Sky Horizon Media is delighted to be releasing such a wonderful book by this promising young author. When Dinosaurs Roamed The Earth is sure to be a wonderful addition to the educational world. This 7-year-old's first masterpiece is fascinating, it's insightful, and most importantly, it will inspire children all over the globe to reach the same potential that Pritvik has done. We feel that Pritvik Sinhadc is an extremely talented student, teacher, and writer, and we look forward to seeing all his successes for years to come. Once again, I would like to thank you all for being here, and I would like to say a special thank you to McGreedy's for hosting us here tonight. And also a special thank you to Pritvik's teachers at Dubai British School. It's very special that they came here tonight. And on that note, I would like to introduce the principal of Dubai British School, Mr. Mark Ford.
I'm sure you can hear me back without this. Can you hear me back? Yeah, okay. Yeah. I'd like to say I taught him everything he knows, but that would be a complete lie, because he knows far more than me. I've only really had the pleasure of getting to know Pritvik over the last year, because I'm relatively new to the post. The two people in front of me can talk more about him and the talents that he's got. As you can imagine, he's a huge celebrity of the school. The day his news article was published, he became, as I say, a local celebrity. And I'm the first person to have his autograph, which I'm holding somewhere very, very safe, because I'm sure it's going to be worth a fortune in some years to come. It's a real pleasure to be here tonight just to share one of Dubai British School's shining lights achievements, because obviously what he has achieved is massive, it's huge. We talked about his talents. I think what's particularly amazing about Pritvik is that he's just talented in everything that he does. And he's one of those guys that we're so jealous about, because whatever he puts his mind to, he's brilliant. So it's really nice to be here. Pritvik, we all want autograph copies, of course. It's a delight to be here to share this celebration, and thank you all for joining us. Can I introduce two key people? Georgina Williams was Pritvik's teacher in year one. And Peter Moore is the head of the primary school, so obviously Peter has spent several years watching Pritvik develop into the amazing individual that he is. So it's a real pleasure to be here, Pritvik. Thank you very much for inviting us.
Mr. Moore, we would be pleased to have you come up on stage and say a few words.
Good evening, everybody. I think every child has a unique quality about them. It's been obvious from the very beginning that Pritvik had qualities and talents way beyond most children, putting him in that top few percent right at the very top. And as you'll see from the book itself, the teachers he's had throughout his time at DBS have been astounded by his knowledge, his confidence in talking to adults, sharing everything he knows about dinosaurs, to the point where they'd be absolutely amazed. It's quite a challenge to have a child in your class who knows infinitely more than you know about one thing, two things more than that, quite disconcerting in some cases. But he's been encouraged all the way through by his teachers, obviously by his family, has an encyclopedic knowledge, and it's wonderful that it's now resulted in a book that's been published. It's a phenomenal effort and feat, and to be the youngest author so far in the UAE is in itself an amazing thing, and we will congratulate him, and well done, Pritvik. With such nonchalance, doesn't he? He's very, very calm. Yes, I'll sign your autograph later. I'm confident that sometime in the future there'll be a television programme or a news flash where this particular professor has discovered a previously unknown dinosaur. And I hope it's going to be called a Pritvikosaurus.
Thank you so much, Mr. Moore. Ms. Williams, for the help.
Right, well, what an honour to be here this evening to celebrate the launch of Pritvik's first book, When Dinosaurs Roamed The Earth. When Indira first phoned me to tell me Pritvik was writing a book, I was not surprised at all. It was something that we discussed in class. I'd like to think I've helped him with his writing. Yes. But I echo everything what Mr. Ford and Mr. Moore have said about Pritvik being a gifted child. I think sometimes it's hard to channel these child's abilities, and it's really fortunate for him to have had this outlet to share his talent. And hopefully there'll be many more books to come. I just want to share with you a few memorable moments of Pritvik in the classroom. One of my favourites had to be World Book Day, and Pritvik turned up as a dinosaur in this beautiful orange costume. It had a swishing tail behind it, and teeth. And after lunch, I said to the children, "Who's forgotten to put their plastic fork in the bin?" And Juliet pipes up, "Oh, it's Pritvik's teeth." I was like, "What?" And on closer inspection, there were all these plastic forks hanging from the mouth. And that day, the corridors in the classroom were just littered with debris from his outfit. There were scales everywhere, teeth. So I think we could have done our own excavation at school, couldn't we, Pritvik? Another memorable moment has to be when Pritvik taught the Year 3 children. He was 5 years old, and he taught the 8-year-old children about dinosaurs. It all came about from my colleague, Miss Shorthouse, saying, how am I going to inspire children, how am I going to hook their interest about teaching them about dinosaurs? And I said, don't worry, I've got just the person who can do that. And so I spoke to Pritvik and I said, would you like this opportunity? Do you think you can handle it? All we're asking is a couple of slides on a PowerPoint. So the day arrived, Miss Shorthouse and I sit at the back, thinking, oh, it'll be about 5 minutes. And 20 minutes later, Pritvik is still going on. He must be on slide 30, confidently standing at the front, sharing all his knowledge with the class. He was inviting children to answer questions. He was interacting with them, and we didn't have the heart to interrupt him. It must have gone on for a good 40 minutes, and he still hadn't finished. So that's one of my most memorable moments. But it's been a privilege teaching Pritvik, and I think when you come across any child, it's always a privilege to teach children, but when we give to children, to be part of the process and to nurture their development is a privilege. And Pritvik, you've taught me a lot. It's not just about dinosaurs, but how to teach children like you. And you've left a big impression on my heart, and I'll always remember you. And like what Mr. Moore said, I look forward to the day when you're Dr. Paleontologist Pritvik. Okay, so you need to remember me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's so wonderful to have teachers that know you're so intimately academically something, so thank you. So now Pritvik is going to do a presentation for us. You ready? Excellent. You want to speak into the microphone? It's on. Yeah.
I don't exactly remember when I first became interested in dinosaurs, but my parents keep telling me that it was as early as 9 months. But as far as I can recollect, I've always been interested in these absolutely mind-blowing creatures. The fact that they once roamed in our backyards gives me a thrill I simply can't express. I started writing it when I was 6. It took me a year to gather facts, verify, and study them. It all stemmed from my first presentation that I gave to Year 3 students when I was in Year 1. This year, I gave similar presentations to Year 5 and 6 students of the DBS Science Club. The fact that I found